The perfect solution for the Seattle Mariners' first base hole. Let's talk about it. So while there is no doubt there is a group of you out there that will hate this option at first base, I still believe it is a very possible option for the Seattle Mariners to go out and do, and it will be very affordable. Maybe not to them, but it is still very affordable compared to most other contracts. And that answer to the first base hole is Christian Walker. Now, there's going to be a few things I want to go over in this video because I know there are sure a lot of questions, what happens if Justin Turner comes back or whatever the case may be, and I'm going to answer all those in this video. But let's talk about Christian Walker's career stats and what makes him such a good fit if he were to come over to Seattle. So as you guys know, Christian Walker has been with the Arizona Diamondbacks for most of his career, and even though he is 33, in his age 33 season, he still had 26 home runs, 84 RBIs, a 10% walk rate, a 251 batting average, a 119 WRC plus, and a 3 WAR. So even though he is definitely on the wrong side of 30 and he keeps getting older as the years go, obviously that's what happens, but he is still producing at an extremely high level. Fangraphs has his projections as 32 home runs, 96 RBIs, a 243 batting average, a 119 WRC plus, and a 2.6 WAR in 2025. And I do think those numbers are very realistic for Christian Walker. Now, starting with the first question that we like to go over is, will that power translate if he played at T-Mobile Park? And the answer is yes. So for example, in 2023, he had 34 home runs, and in T-Mobile, if all of those balls were hit, he actually would have had 35 home runs. While in 2024, he had 26, and if he played all those games in T-Mobile, he would have had 25. So very similar numbers, and T-Mobile will not affect him. As we know, he is not the kind of player to hit wall scrapers. He hits the ball a long way. But let's chat a little bit about what he is projected to make as a free agent this offseason, and MLB Trade Rumors has him projected as a 3-year, $60 million contract. While somebody like Pete Alonso would absolutely break the bank for the Seattle Mariners, somebody like Christian Walker at $20 million AAV is not that bad. And for a hitter and defender that has performed at a high level his entire career, and I will go into his defense a little bit later, but he has performed at a high level for most of his career, and guys like Justin Turner specifically have actually hit some strides once they get to 33 age plus. But a $20 million AAV is not impossible for the Seattle Mariners to pull off. Do I think they will? Probably not, but it is not impossible for them to do. But to kind of give you a better sense of what I'm referring to, that Christian Walker may be aging in terms of being on the wrong side of 30, somebody like Justin Turner, who is most likely going to be a Seattle Mariner in 2025 if they don't get Carlos Santana. Someone like Justin Turner, when he was 34, put up 27 home runs, 67 RBIs, a 290 batting average, a 131 WRC plus, and a 3.9 WAR. So there are guys that can perform at the upper ages, and I think Christian Walker is one of those players. So I'm sure this brings up a lot of questions, especially with the Mariners rumors around possibly signing Carlos Santana to be an everyday first baseman or re-signing Justin Turner to come back and possibly mix in at DH, first base, a little bit of everything. So if the Seattle Mariners were to bring back Carlos Santana, that would answer this first base question because he would be your everyday first baseman. But here is the other option if they do decide not to go with Carlos Santana and decide to go with Justin Turner. So everyone's obviously expecting if they were to re-sign Justin Turner would work in reps at first base with Luke Raley, as well as mix in a little bit at DH with, whoever could be our DH. There's a lot of people that could be DH on this team, but that would be his primary role. Now, here is my first concern, and obviously not with Carlos Santana, who just won a Gold Glove and led the league in first baseman and outs above average with 14. My main concern is if Luke Raley and Justin Turner are manning first base all season. Amongst first basemen with a minimum of 150 innings played at first base last season, Luke Raley ranked 43rd with a -3 outs above average. While Justin Turner was a little bit better, he did have a 1 outs above average, which at least isn't negative, but still not somebody you necessarily rely on for defense. While Christian Walker, on the other hand, was right behind Carlos Santana with a 13 outs above average, with ranked second in all of baseball. So defensively, you arguably cannot go wrong with Christian Walker or Carlos Santana at first base, but offensively, Christian Walker much outweighs Carlos Santana. Not to say Carlos Santana is not a very productive bat, but Christian Walker is still putting out 25 plus home runs every single season. So to give you a little bit of what I'm playing in my head is if Christian Walker were to be a first baseman for the Seattle Mariners, you're allowed to have Justin Turner mix around with maybe a few games at first base and give Christian Walker some days off, but also that would be mainly Luke Raley's role. While Luke Raley is definitely one of the best players on the Seattle Mariners, especially last year, he can mix in a lot of games by giving guys off days. So he can play every single outfield position, center field, left field, and right field, which gives every single one of those guys a day off a week. And as we know, they don't really trust Luke Raley to face lefties still, so that is a situation where Luke is most likely going to sit the bench anyway. But either way, there are still going to be games where you could put Luke Raley at first and maybe have Christian Walker DH or even Justin Turner. So in my mind, when you play it out like that, it is still very possible to have Christian Walker, Luke Raley, and Justin Turner all on this roster at once. With lefties being mixed in, Luke Raley will still get 3 to 4 games every single week, but obviously you know he's going to sit automatically when a lefty is on the mound, which allows you to have Justin Turner and Christian Walker in the same exact lineup on a day a lefty is pitching. And now just to state out the obvious, he brings a lot of power and RBIs to this lineup that this lineup is very much missing. Christian Walker is essentially your Geno from a few years ago. He will put out 25 plus home runs, have about 90 plus RBIs, except Christian Walker hits for a much higher average than Geno does. I don't want to say much and discredit Geno, but Geno is about a 230 hitter, while Christian Walker is about a 250, maybe 260 hitter. Christian Walker is a career 250 hitter, but he does have seasons where he's a little bit higher or a little bit lower. So to me, Christian Walker is the perfect player for the Seattle Mariners lineup. You put him in at the 4 spot or the 5 spot, and he will generate a lot of runs and a lot of power for this lineup. I know there's going to be a lot of you that say this is probably very unrealistic, but like I said, 20 million AAV, in my personal opinion, is just not very unrealistic for any team. Please let me know what you guys do think if the Mariners were to go out and acquire Christian Walker, because I do think this would be huge for them and make this offseason a massive jump. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.